So we got to give a special shout out to 3 Bay Area football teams who went on to win state titles. Moreau Catholic, their first ever state title.
Yep.
St. Vincent de Paul. And we cannot forget about those Balboa Buccaneers. Congratulations to all 3 of those teams going on to win a state title down in SoCal this past weekend.
Yep.
Football's over.
It's so sad. It is so sad. It's really like,
Tyler,
You're going to be all right.
it's like losing a loved one. It really is.
Don't cry, Tyler. It's okay.
A little dramatic.
I think you're being very dramatic.
No, just a little.
Hey, but we love football, though, man.
Yeah.
We love football.
Yeah.
We love football.
Yep.
But you know what? It's basketball now.
It is basketball
we
season.
get to be warm in the gymnasium.
Sure.
The games are an hour and a half long.
Unless you're shooting soccer.
Unless you're shooting soccer, that's more like an hour 50, 2 hours.
And cold
Yeah.
and rainy.
Cold, rain. I'm fine
Weather
with
the
it.
elements.
I'm a New Yorker. I'm used to it.
Yeah, not me.
I shot a lot of soccer games in the rain, so last year. So.
I'm too spoiled. I hate it.
Must be nice.
The weather, just to be clear.
Anyways, welcome to the Cover Kill High podcast. I'm your host, Jake Vanderbrook, alongside Tyler Flipson, Adrian Soriano. Okay, Winter Sports. Let's go. So
It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
let's start out in the pitch. Starting off with St. Francis. This past week, they went on to beat Burlingame 6-0. Carlmont getting the job done, beating Presentation 2-1. And Sequoia, and this is all girls soccer, by the way, getting the job done, beating Mountain View 2-1. And then, I forgot I had one more score here. St. Mary's, they go on to beat El Cerrito 1-0.
And speaking of St. Mary's, that was girls. Well, the boys team did just as well, too. They beat Moreau Catholic 2-0. Then we go on over to Valley Christian boys, that is, where they took on Live Oak 2-1 in favor of the Warriors. And then Menlo Atherton boys soccer took on Pioneer. Sorry, Nikon. Menlo Atherton, best Pioneer there, 2-1. And yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. I got boys basketball. Campo Lindo 54-50 over Cornerstone Christian, which we've never covered. Santa Teresa over Branham 83-79. Heritage beat Lincoln of San Francisco by 47-46. And Menlo Atherton 67-47 victory over the Kings Academy.
Yeah, MA's a solid team. They always have solid programs over the year.
do.
Always.
That they do. Now let's go on over to some girls hoop now, where girls hoops, that is. We have Santa Clara and Andrew Hill, where the Bruins got it done by 3, 34-31. And then we had Menlo and Branham girls hoops, where Menlo took down Branham 53-45. And lastly, we had Washington and James Logan girls hoops, where Logan took down Washington 54-44.
Yeah, the big boss was out in Union City covering that James Logan Washington game. Good win for those Colts. And our producer Nikon Shadus was in San Ramon last week with Dougherty Valley taking on Berkeley. I don't think Nikon has his mic. I was going to ask him for some takeaways, but I don't think he's got the mic all situated. But Dougherty Valley, they were able to get the job done.
We'll speak for him. It's fine.
We'll speak for him. But this was a great win for Dougherty Valley. Always nice to get a lot of confidence when you're diving in the non-league play, so that way you can prepare for league play. Dougherty Valley now 6-2 in the regular season. They did face some tough teams earlier on, and now you get a nice, comfortable win over Berkeley. And, in this one, this was all about Rashad Cotton Jr., 19 points, superb shooter, along with Alonzo Walker adding 12 points for those Wildcats. But there is another key piece that they're waiting for. And the reason why I'm saying that they're waiting for is Jalen Stokes. Remember, he played at Dublin High last year.
Yep.
There were reports that came out saying that he was ruled ineligible.
Yeah.
But Dougherty Valley, they are expect to appeal.
They're gonna appeal it.
So, Dougherty Valley, what's the one thing that stands out about this team for you, Adrian?
You know what? Mike Hansen. Coach Hansen does a spectacular job over there. I mean, even last year, they lost Ryan Beasley. They lost,
Was that 2 years ago?
2 years ago. Well, last season, they didn't have
season.
Ryan,
That's
right? Because he graduated. And I think it was Connor Sevilla.
Connor Sevilla.
He was gone too,
Yeah.
and they won the NCS Division I title last year, and this year, they're primed to probably make another deep run in the playoffs and potentially compete for the East Bay League title. So hey, it's got to come down to coaching, and they have that.
And here's the other thing I think about too. We talked about at the start of the football season, right? And it all translates from sport to sport. Is the ability early in the season to build confidence, right? I think it is important to schedule tough,
Yep.
And regardless of the result of what happens out of that, it is make or break. But it's really to kind of test, okay, what do we got? What are we made of here? Is this going to be a confidence builder? Or are we going to be humbled and have to check ourselves and kind of make sure, is this our season or not, So I think it goes into these early season takeaways where we talked about, and it's going to be like this for a couple of weeks, is that, a lot can happen. It's so early in the season, a lot can happen. But it's going to really be a character check for these teams, early on, seeing what they're made of to start their season.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a great start for Dougherty Valley, 6-2, as I mentioned before. And now they're going into the week, going up against a very talented Valley Christian team who enters this week 5-0, and they're going to be playing in San Jose Wednesday night. I'm actually going to be there for that one. So that's a really interesting non-league game.
Yeah.
You never know what to expect from Valley Christian, but they,
they're off to a good start right now.
Yeah,
so
they're off to a great start. And, when it comes to non-league play, these are great opportunities to, especially for Dougherty Valley, you're going to have to win on the road. Those are very tough tests for those Wildcats, and let's see what they can do Wednesday night.
I always wonder how these non-league matchups get made. There's always some weird one. Like the one that stood out to me last week was like Lee Cal. I thought
that's part of like the tournament, right?
Yeah, sure, I know that's part of the tournament, but still, these non-league matchups, it's just interesting how they come
I mean, when you put these tournaments together, they always have them year in, year out.
Yep.
It goes on, and the most important thing about it is to get these games in. Give these kids minutes, give these kids experience.
Exactly.
So, and the Gridley Invitational, that is a prime tournament and a golden opportunity for a lot of these elite basketball programs like Salesian, San Ramon Valley, Reardon, who went on to win the Gridley.
And we'll talk about that a
Invitational.
little bit. Well,
So let's talk about it now.
oh, there's
no time to waste, Adrian. I want to talk about it right now.
Okay.
Gosh darn it.
So in the finals, it went down between Reardon and Salesian.
Yep.
And this was the Open Division NorCal title. Those were the two teams that went at it.
That's right.
It was a close game at that time, and this was a very close game this time. But at the end of the day, it was Reardon that goes on to win the Gridley Invitational.
Well, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, we saw it last year, and here we are to get a rematch early in the season. Is this an early foreshadowing to what's going to come late in the season, or we're going to see them again in the same circumstance and format? Are they the same teams that they were last year? It's just one of the best basketball matchups I could probably ask for, I think. I always look forward to every year those two teams face off.
And you know what? Besides the tournament part of it, like these kids get housed by a lot of the fine people in Gridley, so it's more than
Small
just basketball.
town.
It's a small town, they really treat them like family every time they're there. So, it's a great environment, great tournament. We got to cover this next year.
We do. We really do.
Maybe not as a game, but more of like a feature because it's just
That'd be interesting.
amazing.
Yeah, kind of like a Gridley Invitational
this is a
feature.
tournament where it's best of the best.
Exactly.
It really is. When you talk about this game that went down to the wire, this game, it all came down the free throws at the end.
That's right. Yep.
It came down the free throws. Salesian, they missed one that costed them the game, and they would have forced overtime. But this was a game where Salesian had to fight back. They were trailing at halftime, and then they went on a run to make this a very interesting game heading into the fourth quarter. They took advantage of turnovers. They took advantage of, transition buckets for the Pride. So, Carlton Perilliot, along with Elijah Stanley, had 8 points each, and then you had Isaiah Davis, who had 13 points. But Reardon, it all starts up front with Andrew Hillman and Jasir Rencher, who were the 2 leading scorers for those Crusaders.
What interests me so much about Salesian is their ability to spread the ball. It's never just one guy. I can't say never. It is not often one guy leading the way, dominating.
It's a whole team.
They spread the ball so well, so evenly distributed on points. It's very rare there's one guy separated above the rest, when it comes to stats.
And defensively, they're always good.
Yes,
right? They're always
I know.
good.
They're so
and,
good on D.
like you said a few minutes ago, it's not, it's about the confidence. And, hey, listen, we're heading into league, man. January, league starts for all these teams. I know some leagues have already started. So, man, these tournaments, these non-league games, it's a way to really prepare the kids to league play and into the playoffs, especially for Reardon, right? I mean, they have a tough league always, and Salesian, not as tough of a league, but, it really gets them prepared for the playoffs.
Let me ask you something, Adrian. Do you think that with where Reardon is in the CCS, and then you have all these other phenomenal NCS teams like De La Salle, Dougherty Valley, Salesian, San Ramon Valley, and the list goes on and on. So, like, Reardon is going to be the team in the CCS. It's always going to be that big matchup with Reardon and Midi.
Yeah.
But then come NorCal time, because you're playing all these CCS, West Catholic League games. Do you feel like Reardon has a bit of a disadvantage when they make that transition from CCS heading into NorCal? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there's always tough competition in the NCS. You know what I mean?
I mean, you know what? It really toughens them. Yeah, I mean, does it take a little bit of a toll on Reardon? Yes, just because, you're playing Midi, you're playing St. Ignatius, you're playing Sacred Cathedral, right? I mean, you're playing Sarah, who's well coached, right? So it's always a bloodbath in the West Catholic League. I don't know if I should say that term, but again, it really toughens Reardon. It really hardens them, gets them ready for the playoffs because, teams like these that have expectations to go to state, winning league is great, but really it comes down to let's get playoff ready. Let's get ready to make that deep run into state. And you know what? Maybe this is the year for Reardon. Maybe this is the year. And, how ironic is it that they're not as talented as last year, but I think they're better this year.
Yeah, I think, it's a lot of players that are actually stepping up. And the one person for me, I would have to say it's more of Andrew Hillman.
Absolutely.
He's taking more of a leadership role. And we saw that in that hard-fought victory over Salesian, who is a well-coached team. And we talk about the balance and the physicality that they bring. So I think Andrew Hillman has been a key piece for the Crusaders all throughout his high school career, and I think that's going to show even more as we start to dive more into this season, because I think this is a special team Reardon has.
And you know what? Andrew's been on the varsity team since his freshman year, I believe.
Yep.
So just the continuity there in Reardon, and Jasir Rencher. A revenge game for him against Salesian. He's struggled against Salesian last year. Yep. He finally gets his revenge, and what a time to do it.
Yep.
Leading them to the Gridley Invitational Championship. So
we'll see him try to shine bright the same way with the ice on Jake's neck right now. They're just trying to shine bright. We'll see what they can do with it.
12 points for the Texas A&M commit. So let's get to some of our previews, shall we?
Yep.
So let's start off with Mount Eden taking on Amador Valley. And I believe Amador Valley going into this week, they haven't lost a game yet, Tyler.
Haven't lost a game yet. I'm really looking forward to it. I'll be there. Wednesday night, Crumble Cookies, game of the week. We'll be bringing the cookies, the good stuff.
It's all about the rumble for the crumble.
Rumble for the crumble. Maybe have you used that in your stand-up
I
yet
have,
before?
yes.
You have? Okay.
Well, but isn't that more football than basketball?
Rumble?
Rumble for the rumble,
you could
right?
rumble. You could rumble either way, right?
I mean, what if you're loose ball on the ground? Jump ball?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. That's
a bit of a rumble, wouldn't
yeah,
you
that
say?
is
So here's the thing. I didn't get the opportunity, I don't think, to see either team last season. So I'm really excited coming into this game to see what both teams are made of, especially the Amador Valley on the run like they are right now. And that's what we talked about, again, just to reemphasize, is that early season confidence. To be undefeated at this point in the season is very early. But, to be playing the way that they are, that really puts your, confidence and honestly ego on a shelf, and as it should, that we can take on anyone. Don't matter who you are, where you come from, what your background is, or how good you are at ball. We got you. We got your number.
And especially they're in the East Bay League, which is no question about it. It's probably the toughest league in the Bay Area.
It is the toughest.
Right?
I'm gonna
De
say
La,
it right now.
Dougherty, Dublin, San Ramon Valley, and Amador Valley isn't a good run right now. Livermore, Coach Mike Tripp is there.
Yeah, he's trying to change that program around. He's trying to change that program around.
Yeah, no, that league is for real. I mean, to put it as simply as possible.
Exactly.
So I'm excited to see it.
Could you imagine if Salesian was in the East Bay League?
Oh man.
Oh my God, dude. I mean, forget chaos. It is going to be like World War 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Just imagine Salesian, De La, Salesian, De La, Salesian. I mean, but seriously, the games are so great, right? Salesian De La Salle, Salesian Dougherty, Salesian Dublin, Salesian San Ramon Valley. Cal. Cal is probably a sleeper in this league this year. I saw them last week, and they're a well-coached team. They got some talent over there. And because
what does Salesian have to do with 5 extra world wars? Where
but,
does that?
But it's just that it's a dogfight. It's gonna be a dogfight no matter what, right? So
how many fingers am I holding up?
5.
5 world wars you just went through with Salesian.
With
going
just
to the
Salesian.
East.
But it's a
That's
dogfight though.
crazy.
That's
wild.
And that's not to mention like De La Dougherty, De La Dublin, Dougherty San Ramon, De La San Ramon Dougherty, Dublin Dougherty. I mean, it's just matchup galore.
Sorry, you make good points. We just got caught up on one caveat of your
all right,
point
though.
there. That was very.
Well, anyways, speaking of Salesian, let's move over to our Chick-fil-A sportsmanship game. I'll be at this game out in Richmond Thursday night. Salesian St. Ignatius, a very, very interesting non-league matchup. And when you look at both of these teams, I feel like these are the 2 teams that everyone sleeps on.
And to be clear, this is girls hoops. We're talking
girls
about
hoops.
Girls, yeah.
Girls hoops.
No, I think both teams definitely are sleepers in that category for sure. I mean, let me clarify this. At the end of the day, they're St. Ignatius, they're Salesian. They carry the title and the name of the schools that they are and the skill sets that they have.
Right.
But grand scheme, I would agree with what you're saying.
Right.
Though.
I think a lot of people slept on Salesian last year when they went on to make a deep run, and they eventually went on to win an NCS D1 title.
That's right. Yep.
I don't think a lot of people saw that coming, because in that bracket, a lot of people were thinking it was going to be Cal that was going to run that bracket in the D1, but here comes Salesian, and you know what Steven Pizzola brings to that program.
Exactly.
Well coached. He knows what he's doing over there. And they went on to shock a lot of teams to win that NCS D1 title.
And Salesian overall, just well-coached teams, right? Both basketball programs are so well-coached. Even Salesian last year, they didn't really have that one girl. Oh, this is our go-to person.
Yep.
With the game on the line, they didn't really have that last year, and they made it all the way to a NCS title. They may do it again this year. It's again too early, but I haven't really seen like, oh, this is our go-to player,
Right.
with the game on the line.
Yep.
So
with Salesian, what they have right now, Salesian 4-1 entering this week, by the way. They have the Sawyer sisters. There's Jemiah, and then there's Janiyah.
Okay, Jemiah.
J squared.
Oh boy.
J squared,
Wait, what is
right?
it again?
So Janiyah Sawyer averaging 17 points a game, while Jemiah is averaging 12 points. And then they also have a very talented freshman who's providing some great minutes for the Pride, averaging 9 points a game. Her name is Naomi Young. So I think, that's someone that you're going to have to watch out for down the road, not just going into this season, but for years to come.
Yeah.
And then you think about St. Ignatius. They are so well balanced as well. They got the captain, Anna O'Shaughnessy, who's their outstanding rim protector that they have over there, who's going to be a force in the West Catholic League, no doubt about it. We know Sophia Sanchez can shoot the long ball when it's needed most. Megan Manning is an outstanding facilitator for the Wildcats. And then you got Mary Ennis. And then at the end of the day, Coach Maya does an outstanding job.
Exactly.
She really does. I mean, Wildcats, I think their only loss this season, they're 3-1, by the way, entering this week. They lost to Acalanes, and Acalanes is a very talented team.
I want to go back to a point you said about SI there, is how well balanced they are. And in a grander scheme, boys and girls hoops, is I think some of these best programs that exceed at the highest levels are well balanced. Not to take away from these teams that have a superstar or two that lead the way for these teams, right? I think, like, for example, Ignacio Valley, they do very well with Kellogg Jr., right? He's kind of the guy there.
OT, right? It was Ardarius Grayson who led that team.
Exactly. So those teams, don't let that be misunderstood. Those teams still do very well. But I think about the programs that have the legacy of success for the programs year after year are balanced. And I see that being a trend across these schools. That's very interesting for that.
The depth, right? We saw it with Mitty. I mean, Mitty for years.
Oh.
Yeah, you have McKenna and you had Morgan Shelley last year, but it's just the depth of their bench. I mean, they every 2 minutes or so, they're just subbing in fresh players. So, and you saw Piedmont last year, Piedmont girls, it was with Natalia Martinez, and that's about it, right? So you can only go so far with one superstar player on the team. You need depth.
Yeah, and Mitty has that this year, by the way, when they're bringing the addition of Devin Cosgriff.
That more depth.
Yeah.
There you go.
A huge one. I know.
It's such a shame that St. Ignatius is in the West Catholic League. You put them in a different league, they're going to win league title, right? It's just, maybe the West Catholic League is going to be closer than we think this year, A lot of those teams are off to good starts. SI, Sacred Heart,
I would say
St.
for
Francis.
I would say for like the battle for second and third.
But yeah,
no one's touching Mitty.
Closer. No, I mean,
no one's touching Mitty.
It can happen, but it's a long shot.
Yeah.
But again, SI, Sacred Heart, St. Francis is off to a good start, right? So
and Reardon, they made some noise last year.
Exactly, Reardon made some noise last year.
Yeah.
So, man,
I think that SI Salesian game, it's going to be very close.
I believe so.
It's going to be very close. I could see this being a low-scoring game, a defensive showdown, I would have to say. And I could see just both teams cracking 40 points, and that's it.
That's a big possibility, And, Jake, I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous. But, you know what? We got to give it to you. You guys get all the good games. So
it's a great game. All right, let's make our way over to the polls.
All right.
And do you want to start with girls or do you want to start with boys?
Well, let's start with girls.
Okay,
right?
ladies first. Ladies first.
Well, Mitty's number one. They didn't play last week. So they're probably going to like some tournament this week. Carondelet 3-0 last week. Granada Freedom Clayton Valley. Salesian number 3. They beat Redwood and Bethel. Bethel was a league game. Pinewood number 4. They went 2-1 in the Ileani Classic in Hawaii.
That's right. I forgot they were there.
That Long Island Lutheran team's pretty darn good.
I was about to say.
I mean, they put up a fight against Mitty last year in that Nike tournament.
I was about to say, they lost to that Long Island Lutheran team, and they beat the 2 Hawaii teams. So still, good showing for Pinewood in Hawaii,
absolutely.
Right? Oakland Tech still number 5. They went 3-0. Beat Cal last week, which we had on the show. Beat Lowell and beat Clovis. Sacred Heart Cathedral number 5. They went 3-0 in the Paris Twins tournament in Piedmont. They're
number 6.
Oh, they're number 6. Sorry, number 6.
Attention to detail.
Number 6. Sorry, it's too early, guys. I'm sorry. I woke up late today, as you can tell.
What time did you wake up?
Like 8. 8.
That's late?
Yeah, it's late for me, man.
Right.
I usually wake up at like 6:30. So, anyway.
SHC number 6.
SHC number 6, they beat Vanden, Cardinal Newman, and Grant. Good teams. They beat Cardinal Newman. Let's keep that in mind, as we go along in the season. San Ramon Valley number 7, they lost to Clovis, but they did beat Clovis North. So they went down from 6 to 7. Auckland is number 8, beat Redwood and Caruthers. SI number 9, they only had one game. They beat Los Gatos. And St. Francis enters our poll for the first time, so Bishop O'Dowd drops out.
Welcome.
St. Francis beat Aragon, Marin Catholic, and Moreau Catholic, so they are now the number 10 team.
Okay.
Still undefeated.
Yep.
Right? So, like I said, St. Francis off to a good start.
Yeah.
And, piggybacking from what you said, Tyler, earlier in this episode, confidence.
Yep.
This is it right here. So that's the girls' poll for the week.
I like it.
Entering this week.
I like it. Yeah, I can't think of any other teams that you could really replace.
Yeah, I know. I mean, everyone's doing non-league or everyone's doing tournaments, right? So we have about maybe 2 weeks left.
The only thing I would ask is, would you put Los Gatos on the bubble?
Los Gatos is on the bubble.
Okay.
O'Dowd's in the bubble, right?
Yep.
Again, so
Balancing in and out.
yeah. So
I'm indifferent. I gotta see more ball before I make any opinions or critiques.
again, it's tough, right?
Yeah,
it's really
yeah.
once you get to league, right?
This is the tough part of non-league basketball in the month of December.
Exactly, yeah.
And then you start to get a better idea come mid-January.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So
know,
that's what
agreed.
it really boils down to. But let's make our way to the boys' poll.
All right, boys poll. Well, we have a major change. A major change. Reardon is now our #1 team because they beat Salesian in
Hard-fought victory. for those
Hard-fought victory.
Crusaders.
So they have won the Gridley Invitational last weekend, and I had to sleep on this a little bit, but I am putting De La Salle at #2. They had a case for #1, but I'm putting them at #2. They won their own Chris Von Tour Classic.
Yep.
So congratulations to the Spartans.
Good
Alec Blair,
stuff.
man.
Good stuff.
Salesian just drops down to #3.
You had him at 2 last week, right?
I think I had him at 2. I really thought about it. Me and Jake were talking last time. Like, man, maybe De La Salle's the #1 team, or it could be Reardon. So, I had to sleep on it and really make a decision this morning. So, but that's the decision. That's the
See, folks,
Well,
Cal
let's
High
see.
doesn't stop on the weekends.
No, it
They're
doesn't.
talking on their own time about
Well, you
this poll.
remember during volleyball season, Adrian
right.
went camping.
That's right. I went
I'll never
camping.
forget that. Because I was sitting around the
camping.
campfire and I just had to start working on the poll. I'm like, Adrian, you're camping. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, but you know what? Hey, man, I have
It was
a job to do.
It was the Milpitas Spike Fest, I
Yes.
think it was.
Exactly.
Yes.
Hey, you know
Good
what?
memory.
Hey, I have
That's
a duty.
It's the most
to these
Sorianian
polls.
thing I've ever heard.
Sorry. Okay. Well, all right. Well, we're gonna move on a little bit. Dougherty Valley #4. So not only did they beat Berkeley, they went to Palma High School and they placed 3rd in the Scatini tournament. They lost to Marina from Southern California. So
Okay.
again, and they went on to beat Independence for 3rd place.
Yeah.
Independence of San Jose.
No kidding.
Seriously.
Huh.
Yeah, I was looking like, oh, they played Independence? Okay.
I didn't know. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good experience for Independence.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It wasn't close, but
Well,
hopefully it
think
helps
about it.
Independence.
It helps them prepare for league.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Are you laughing because you didn't expect Independence?
I did not expect Independence to play Dougherty Valley.
The way I see it, Adrian, I think it's great experience.
It
for
is
that
great
program.
experience for the 76ers.
It's good for.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind.
All right. Well.
Come on.
I said nothing. I said nothing. I thought it. I said nothing.
All right. Well, Oakland Tech #5. They lost to St. Joseph of Santa Maria. Didn't they? St. Joseph, wasn't that like a?
Yeah, there's some
North
investigation that's going on.
Wasn't that? Oh no! That was a SoCal team, no? They were
Well-
a SoCal team in
Last
regional.
year they were a SoCal team.
Yeah.
That was the team that went on to beat
Didn't they beat Sierra Canyon?
Sierra Canyon.
So they're
the
so-
year before they were a NorCal
Oh,
team.
that's right, and they beat
and they went on to beat
Dougherty
Valley, and they went on to beat Modesto Christian, the punched their ticket the state,
okay.
if I recall correctly.
Okay. But Tech did beat Mission College Prep. So it was like a showcase down in Mission College Prep.
So hang on. They're SoCal. So geographically,
because-
where is this school at?
So
If I
they're a
put
Central Section team.
They're from the Central.
They're from the Central. So what the CAF does
like, give me a
is,
city. Like what we talking
like
here?
Fresno,
great.
Clovis. So what they do sometimes.
Specifically, they're in Santa Maria.
Santa Maria.
Santa Maria, sorry.
Santa Maria. So what the
like a
CAF
margarita
does, what the
pizza.
CAF does is they split the Central Section into 2. So like Clovis West, one year they were in SoCal when they beat Midi, like
Right.
that had they were undefeated coming into
Yeah.
like state, and then I think last year they were in NorCal.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I think they beat or they played like.
Why do they
San
switch it?
Rafael.
Why not just keep it the same?
It's a Central Section, and the
Yeah,
CAF is trying to be
it's-
fair, right? Because it's you can't really put the Central Section all of them in SoCal, and you can't really put all of them in NorCal, so they had to
Interesting.
split it.
Yeah,
So-
it's
They should let me decide those kind of things. I think it'd be a lot more.
yeah,
clean.
that would be legit. But they have some investigation going down
Yeah.
over there regarding
I don't know if that's
ineligible
still going.
like players that are talking about them recruiting them to boost their GPA,
Yeah.
to get better looks at schools and stuff like that. I know there's some investigation that was going on last year about that.
Yeah, we don't even know if it's still
Tomfoolery, would
going.
you say?
I would say tomfoolery.
Tomfoolery.
Absolutely.
Got it.
Okay, well,
Got it.
all right, moving on. San Ramon Valley, number 6. They are the 4th place team in the Gridley Invitational. Midi, number 7.
Good tournament for SRV.
Good
That's
tournament for SRV.
Great
right?
experience, helps them prepare for league, and they're going to be seeing those teams come playoff
Yes.
time, no doubt about it. SRV will be in the open.
See,
That's
now
right.
that's good for them to be involved in that tournament, get ready for league, unlike Independence, as previously
Oh,
mentioned.
boy. Well,
I think it's great experience for independence. I'm just saying,
Just
Oh my
kidding. I'm
goodness.
looking for trouble.
well, I
you
was
got to
doing that
fight for your
earlier.
independence, Tyler.
You gotta-
I
there it
I
is.
was doing that earlier with my what if Salesian was in the East Bay League? So, we're even.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah,
5 world
you guys are
wars.
even.
5.
Midi number 7, right? They went 2-1 in the Father Barry tournament. I think that's in SoCal.
Okay.
Lost to St. Bernard, but they did beat St. Mary's of Stockton.
St.
and
Bernard, like up in Eureka?
I think they're from SoCal. St.
Okay.
Bernard's of SoCal. But they did beat St. Mary's of Stockton and Cathedral Catholic.
wins.
Good
St.
wins.
Ignatius, number 8, they beat University. Moreau Catholic enters our poll for the first time at number 9. They won the Merv Lopez Hoops Classic in Hawaii. So,
Ooh, okay.
congratulations to
Kellen
the Mariners.
Hampton doing his thing over there
That's
back
right.
at Moreau.
I was gonna list who they beat, but I don't want to mess up their names because it kind of gets a little bit complicated. I'm just gonna save myself the trouble of doing that. And Clayton Valley, number 10, they placed 6th in the Gridley Invitational, lost to Clovis North and Destiny Christian Academy, but they did beat Branson. So.
Okay, Adrian, in your eyes, we talked about some of these teams that are still undefeated, like Valley Christian.
Yes.
They have a tough non-league game come Wednesday
Dougherty, yeah.
as they're going to be hosting Dougherty Valley. Where do you see Valley Christian?
I don't think-
from
well-
your eyes.
I can't really put them in the bubble yet.
Okay.
Yet, 'cause again, there's just so many teams.
Right.
Right. Los Gatos, I would probably put up as a bubble team, but Valley Christian and Dougherty Valley, which you'll be there on Wednesday.
Yep.
This is gonna be a really, really big test for Valley Christian, to really see where they are, right?
Yep.
Really test themselves. And whatever they do this week against Dougherty is probably gonna translate to what they're gonna do in league, right? It's safe to say Dougherty Valley is probably in the same level as Midi, right? And not in terms of coaching. Well, actually, you know what? Coaching, I would say they're probably even, if not, Midi's probably a little bit better. 'Cause
Yeah.
Tim Kennedy's been there for a long time.
Great coach, by the way.
Exactly. Great coach at Midi, great coach at Dougherty. So, whatever they do at Dougherty, it's really going to probably tell us how they're going to fare in the West Catholic League.
'Kay.
So,
Okay.
There you go.
I think a lot of people are sleeping on SI.
SI, I
For
thought
boys.
about
boys.
St. Ignatius too, right? St. Ignatius is a good team. They're also a bubble team, right?
SI's aren't they in the bubble?
SI is
or no,
SI
they're
is-
number 8.
SI is number
They're
eight.
number 8.
SI is number 8, right? So again, it's tough right now. We have about 2 weeks left of
Right.
mostly non-league and tournaments. Then right into league, and this is where anything goes, and that's gonna take us all the way to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
It should be a very interesting WCAL.
last 2 weeks. So
yeah, last 2 weeks in non-league, then you get into
West Catholic, and straight
yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
And that's when I wait to make my opinions about
Yeah,
the poll.
I'm
And
gonna
that's
gotta
fine.
see
And
more.
that's fine. And that's fair, right? Because again,
I think this is going to be a great season for Raymond
absolutely.
Whitley. Raymond Whitley is going to do some damage. For
And you know
SI.
what? And he almost. Oh, you know what? We forgot about Granada. We are completely sleeping on Granada. I know
The
there's
Mats?
I know it's a new coach, but hey, it's still a decent program. Made it all the way to I think the D1 final in NorCal's last year against was it San Ramon Valley or something like that. So, anything can happen. But before you do it, Jake, one last thing. This is a big week for Tyler.
Oh,
He is graduating this
my
week.
gosh, no.
Congratulations. That's right. Congratulations to our Tyler Flipson. He's finally done.
How does it feel to
How does
be
it
a
feel?
San Jose State alum along with Adrian
Right here.
Soriano?
Button up. No, it's great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, it's. I'm ready to be done. So I'm excited and happy, appreciative of my journey and whatnot. But yeah, it's been fun.
So there you go.
Appreciate the love.
We can't end the show without. Come on, man.
I'm not 1% of attention, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you
All
for
right, there you
joining
go.
us. And safe
Well,
to say, Tyler gets the paper crumpled along
That's right.
with
You know,
Adrian.
Tyler gets
and
it.
safe
Tyler,
to
here you go.
say-
Here you go,
no.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? No,
Finish off
Tyler
the show.
gets Tyler
Finish
gets
off
to
the
throw the
show.
paper
Well-
this week.
I think it's safe to say that you have been covered.
Man.